Okay. Hello, everyone. This is Rajamannar here. I'm the Global Chief Marketing and Communications Officer for MasterCard, and I'm also the founding president of MasterCard's healthcare business. As you all may know, I have started, looking at the state of marketing and the future of marketing and questioning some of the basic principles, theories, and constructs of marketing. And I concluded that the way we are doing marketing now needs to be totally revamped, reimagined, and really rethought. And with that in mind, I created a whole concept and I wrote a book called Quantum Marketing, which went on to become a Wall Street Journal bestseller, for which, of course, I'm very grateful. And further, what also I have seen is that the book was getting global traction and now printed in 11 languages around the world. And it has won about 6 international book awards and being taught at 300 schools. Now, in order to extend the debate and dialogue on quantum marketing, I started a few months back the Quantum Marketing newsletter on LinkedIn. And I have got excellent feedback from most of you who have been following and subscribing to that. And now have got more than 130,000 subscribers. And I'm grateful to every one of these subscribers because that's what makes the whole effort worthwhile, and their feedback, their commentary, etc. To extend the dialogue even further is how I have started LinkedIn Live, bringing in thought leaders, CMOs, my peers, and some of the subject matter experts and business leaders, and have a dialogue with them in a fairly casual, free-flowing manner. And I'm very pleased with how that is going and the kind of responses all of you have been giving. And based on your suggestions on who you wanted me to bring to the dialogue here, I have been inviting, and people have been very gracious in terms of accepting those invitations and coming and doing it. So today is the 18th session of LinkedIn Live, and it is absolutely my pleasure to be inviting to this LinkedIn Live session Jessica Jensen. She's on the camera. Welcome, Jessica.
Hello, thank you.
She is responsible. She's the Chief Marketing Officer at Indeed, and she's responsible for brand, communications, product, and acquisition marketing globally. Before Indeed, she served as a CMO at OpenTable. And before that, she was the head of products, platforms, and insights for business marketing at Facebook, overseeing B2B marketing at Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger, and all those platforms you are so familiar with and keep using it.
Now Meta.
Now Meta, of course. And she has held leadership roles prior to that at Apple, which is one of my favorite companies. She was also at Yahoo, and she started her professional career at a consulting firm, at a world-renowned consulting firm, which is Boston Consulting Group. She holds an MBA from INSEAD and a master's in international relations from UCSD and a BA from Amherst College. So she has got an incredible track record. And Jessica, obviously your background is fascinating, and you're being very modest when you say nothing. It's fantastic, really, to see, very inspiring. And having been in places like OpenTable, Facebook, Apple, Yahoo, that's these are all blue chip companies that have been around and doing very well. Can you tell us about your journey and how your experiences have been at some of the largest tech brands? And how does it apply to your current role at INSEAD, at
Sure.
Indeed? And that's something which I would really love to, for our audience to hear.
Great. Thank you so much for having me, Raja. This is so fun, and I love your series, so it's an honor to be included. Yeah, I mean, one of my nicknames is Old Woman of the Internet. I've been working on internet-based businesses since 1998, and my roles have ranged from corporate strategy at BCG, product development at Apple, running consumer media businesses for Yahoo, and then I became a CMO later in my career, running, as you said, B2B platform marketing for the Facebook companies for a while. And then running marketing for a couple of booking holding companies. In addition to OpenTable, I also ran marketing for Kayak, and then have landed my dream job here today at Indeed as CMO. and we are the largest jobs site in the world. So a long and winding road. I consider myself a business strategist and general manager first and a marketer later or second. I love marketing. I adore it, but I view it as part of the business driving, not a sidecar or an add-on. And I'm sure you would agree with that assessment. But I'm so lucky to have worked on multiple global businesses and a lot of, two or three-sided marketplaces where we are matching supply and demand across customers and consumers. And certainly that's core to the work I do at Indeed. We're trying to attract all of the people looking for work in the world, which is not a small number of people, and all of the people who employ them around the world and create the best matches between them so that people can find better work, better economic opportunity, overcome barriers in society, and enjoy better lives through work.
Which is absolutely awesome. And I'm sure everyone would want to be friends with you. Given the field that you are in, who isn't looking for the next better job, obviously, right?
I do get some requests for resume reviews.
Okay. So I have to make sure that I keep my people away from you. So
I've already found them, Raja. I've already found them. No, I'm kidding.
But see, the good thing is MasterCard is such a fantastic company.
Of course.
They don't leave, so I'm very happy.
No chance of leaving. Zero.
So one big thing is, in terms of how the field of marketing is evolving, the kind of skills, the kind of talent that marketers need to have is also got to be dramatically evolving. And particularly with the advent of new technologies like augmented reality, artificial intelligence, or virtual reality, blockchains, all these new technologies which are coming, each one of them has a profound impact on marketing.
Yes.
And to be an effective marketer, you need to know what these technologies are, and you need to be able to deploy them appropriately. Now, I keep saying actually artificial intelligence is not really artificial intelligence, but I call it augmented intelligence. It augments what you have as your own intelligence and then really take it to the next level. Now, of course, there is a lot of concern about whether AI will get people's jobs and will put them out of jobs and so on and so forth. Now, as the CMO of the world's largest jobs site, what do you see as AI's role in the workforce going forward?
Wow. It's a large and rich question, as you know. I love your characterization of AI as augmented intelligence. I think that is spot on. And we obviously see hundreds of millions of people in the jobs world every day, and also close to 4 million employers around the world. So we have a front row seat to all trends in things labor and work. I think, we could talk about marketing specifically and marketing jobs. I'll start at the more macro level. I encourage everyone to check out the Indeed Hiring Lab. This is our oracle of thought leadership and data on everything labor. We track at a country and industry level, very, very rich data about all sorts of trends. Obviously, AI is exploding. It is one of many technologies that you mentioned. We're going to see very disparate impacts on various parts of countries and sectors around the world. Not surprisingly, things that are highly human intensive, childcare, nursing, home health care, food preparation, police service. There are many, many, many jobs that require intense human involvement and judgment. And I think that we are seeing that the impacts on those areas will be smaller later. And in many cases, we don't know yet, right? What will food service look like 3 years from now? I don't think anybody has a very clear read on that. I think taking care of children may stay the same in many ways. So for better or for worse. But things like law, marketing, accounting, many forms of IT, great impacts of AI. In many cases, making those fields more efficient and helping people to become more efficient. But there will be definitely dislocations in certain industries, and we're already seeing that. But AI makes us faster, smarter, more efficient. And I think that, you and I have been around long enough to see lots of technological changes, and when the internet come, everybody said TV is dead, reading is dead, human education is dead. I think we've seen many pros and cons to the rise of the internet. I think it's a net positive for society and for work, and I think we'll find the same thing here. But do you want to talk about specifically marketing impacts
Yeah,
for a minute?
that'd be great. In fact, just before we jump into marketing, I
Yeah.
wanted to narrate one recent interaction I had with a surgeon.
So I will just say, and I'm sure you feel this way as well, all of the marketing technologies, AI, all of the different tools, all of the different media channels, the profusion of technologies and information and things that we need to stay on top of as marketers is mind-boggling and exciting, keeps us on our toes. Certainly in our marketing organization, I'll speak specifically to AI for a minute. We are doing trainings for our team. We're bringing in outside partners and agencies, our media agency, Adobe, et cetera. We are testing a bunch of different AI technologies across the team and sharing our learnings and insights to make, we have about 500 people around the world in marketing. So making sure that we disseminate those learnings is critical. We are seeing massive efficiency improvements. We have already saved $10 million on text content creation over the last year. We are using AI technologies for graphics editing, storyboarding, voiceover creation, headline creation and testing. So the excitement in the team around saving time, being smarter, being able to move through creative processes faster and frankly more creatively, bringing more generation to the party. We are enjoying so much, but it's a lot to ingest. And at the same time, we're managing media channels all over the world, and those change every 15 minutes. So, it's not for the faint of heart, but we try to create hubs within the team of learning, and it keeps us fresh.
So true. And in fact, a couple of thoughts that come to my mind. One is people always give the example when motor cars came, they said the people who are doing all those horse-drawn carriages, their careers are over. And but it has happened in some sense in that way. And revolution after revolution, when there is a technological breakthrough, things do change quite a lot. At a
But
macro level,
the pie expands, right?
the pie
The
expands.
pie
Totally agree
expands.
with
So
you. Totally agree with you.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's a cause for optimism as well. And in fact, for two levels, and I'll just come to the second point. But the point is, for people in general, they say, yep, the opportunities are increasing. But if there is somebody who is at their mid-level in their career, or if they are even at the elderly age groups and they're not yet ready for retirement, they need to work for a few more years. What concerns me is how will these people really tackle the situation? How will they upskill? Saying upskilling, you have to upskill, you have to learn is easier, but how to do it is going to be really difficult. And I keep saying that in this day and age, as classical marketers, you have been trained in one way in psychology, sociology, anthropology, design, and those kind of things. And then you have got the contemporary marketers who are more performance-driven, analytics, and data analytics, technology deployment, automation, and so on. You really require like Leonardo da Vinci's, if you were to see people who can think with right brain as well as the left brain. And it's very difficult to find such people. And if they are there, they don't want to join marketing. They want to go to Silicon Valley, or they want to be in consulting or in investment banks. So the question is, for the existing people, now you have given some thoughts in terms of how you're doing it in your organization by experimenting and then sharing, or even getting some outside people to come and do that stuff. But the question I think I have got is that for people who are in these stages of their lives, what should give them the sense of optimism and excitement? I have one hypothesis, and the hypothesis I think is very correct. I hope so. In a world where technology is so rampantly coming up, it levels the competing field totally.
Mhm.
Which means a small company and a large company will be
Mhm.
able to use the same technology. Like
Yeah,
GPT, chat
that's
GPT
right.
is available at
Everybody.
$20
Yeah,
per month.
that's right.
So stuff like that is available very within the reach of all the companies, which means competition is going to be brutal and
Yes.
differentiation is going to come through marketing. That is what gives me the rise for optimism, saying that this is the golden era that's going to be for marketing, because companies will be able to differentiate and succeed through marketing, not by products, not by channels, not by investments. So this is a thing. But from your perspective,
I love
give
that.
me some
Yeah.
thought.
I love that positive view on it, and I would add another slant, which is I think that, and you've seen this evolution as well. 10, 15 years ago, you could be a brand strategist, you could be a campaign developer, you could be various types of marketing roles. Now those people are required to be creative, strategic, analytical, do math, set OKRs, learn technology, adapt, like people's brains are being stretched, right? And that, I believe, makes all of us better business people, better thinkers, more well-rounded, right? Like if you were a campaign manager in marketing 15 years ago, how extendable was your career? What other roles or areas could you go into? But now, if you can do analytics and OKR setting and ROI tracking, you're a business person. You're not just a marketer, right? And so I think that expands the pie of your purview and your skill and your career. Now, it can also be intimidating and scary.
Yeah.
So it's an emotional journey as well as an intellectual journey. And I think certainly many people in the creative field right now are terrified and electrified by AI tools. I try to encourage people to be electrified and realize that if you are able to integrate more technologies and tools into your creativity, you will have a longer lifespan as a worker, as a marketer, you could go in many different routes. So I think it's upskilling and broadening of skills at the same time.
Absolutely. And in fact, one of the things that we are trying to do at MasterCard is to help people learn. So we have got some guest lecturers coming in from some reputed universities trying to teach us on subjects like behavioral economics. We have got a book club that we have launched where we try to really read together and then educate ourselves. And I myself actually tend to spend about 5 to 6 hours every weekend trying to learn something. And I keep grappling with this. Not everyone is oriented in a similar fashion
Right.
to read books, to attend lectures, or do whatever it is. What do you think are probably the best ways that marketers can actually keep up with the pace of the change? How do they educate themselves? Any
Yeah.
thought from your own experience and what you're seeing, not only at Indeed, but also across the entire industry?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. Listen, I think the form factor and the way really varies for people and their lifestyle, right? I know people who are huge podcast consumers, and that can be very efficient and bite size. And like for me, I'm either on a laptop or in an airplane or with my family, and like podcasts are not my preferred method, right? I'm more of a reader or attending a seminar or something like that. So I think that there are so many different ways to get that learning and consuming. I will say, yours being exception, most business books I think could be a pamphlet. Most are too long. Um, and so, really trying to read and this I use, Chat GPT for summarizing and synopses. And then, following the experts that we learn from. Podcasts can be a great way, but I do fear for the long-term health of the business book market.
Got it, got it. And I agree with you. And actually, this was a very timely advice I had as I was trying to write my book. the editor that I had told me, saying that don't worry about the size of the book, just be worried about the content and the newness of the content, meaning does it give a different perspective or just rehashing what is already out there?
Yeah.
And
Oh
people
my God.
wonder after reading the book, they should not feel it's a waste of time. So I hope I have accomplished some part of that.
You
Back
have.
to the talent, and since you are the business of talent, I cannot easily get off that. So one last
Sure,
question.
sure, sure.
Now, when people ask me what keeps me up at night, I say it is talent. And there are multiple challenges. One is in terms of how do I make sure my team members in the company get properly positioned for tomorrow and enabled for tomorrow. That's one part. Second is to attract the talent and to make sure that we get the right talent. And in many cases, the best of the talent, they're not easily affordable. And many cases, the candidate might be good, but we cannot give those kind of compensations, etc. We lose that. And then you have got a situation where when you're looking for a job, the current models of search firms actually are not really optimized to position those candidates, to serve those candidates who meet your business needs and your marketing needs the best. And Indeed has taken a significant leap, and one of the technologically driven companies. If you can just give some insights into that on talent hiring
Sure.
and new ways of hiring talent, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is the bread and butter or the rice and beans of what we do at Indeed every day. So we are a talent matching and hiring platform, heavily leveraging AI for over a decade and machine learning, and trying to match the right, candidates, skills, abilities to the right jobs. And we like to think we're pretty good at that. We believe that talent is universal, but opportunity is not. And so we are deeply committed to helping people overcome barriers to employment, which could be educational background, incarceration history, race, gender, etc. So we are very focused on skills-based hiring and making sure that employers are finding people with the right skills, not people with the right, I went to XYZ university, or I'm a certain type of person, because as you and I know, there is amazing talent in the market that does not have a traditional path or background. So we work very closely with employers to try to help broaden their view of what is appropriate talent or good or accessible talent. There are 70 million people in the United States with incarceration history. So if we don't use fair chance hiring, we are excluding a massive part of the United States labor pool. So that is at the core of how we help job seekers overcome barriers. But I think that we are in a highly sophisticated, complex labor market situation where candidates have very different expectations, pay, remote or flexible work in certain industries. Most industries aren't able to actually work remotely. So, we're really advising employers on what appeals to workers, as well as helping workers present themselves as well as possible to employers, and then create direct connections. So I think one of the most important parts of our platform is helping employers and job seekers connect actively. I'm an active job seeker for this job. I'd like to communicate with an HR team or a hiring manager. And so all of the technological underpinning of the matching of candidates and jobs, as well as the communication between job seekers and employers, is really the foundation of what we do globally.
So is this at typically the lower levels, or do you actually transit across the entire organization? Because a lot of our viewers are actually, they hire themselves, right, for the companies that they are in. Many of them are CMOs. So from a CMO perspective, should they be looking at a company like Indeed?
Oh my God. We have doctors, lawyers, marketers, sales leaders, finance people, and bus drivers and warehouse workers. I mean, we have, hundreds of millions, everything under the sun. We have knowledge workers, we have service workers. people actively looking every day and very high caliber and all over the globe. So we operate in 60 countries. So if you can't find them on Indeed, they don't exist.
I love the confidence and the statement. Fantastic. Just to sort of go on a slightly different tack, but still pertaining to talent, we are seeing hybrid work, remote work, all that thing is one kind of a thing happening. But there is also an emerging trend of fractional workers saying that I'll be the CMO or I'll be the chief media officer for 4 companies or 6 companies or whatever it is there. Any trends that you see that our audience should be aware of?
Yeah, I mean, I will say, first of all, I think this is one interesting stat that a lot of people may not know. The number of jobs that can be hybrid or remote is about 10%.
That's it.
Most people, when I ask people in our world, what do you think that percentage is? They'll say 25, 40. Most people go to a school or a police house or drive a bus or drive a truck or serve food, right? They are not working remotely. They are all, now, some of them are working fractionally. So this is very interesting, right? We see at the top levels, at the high end of knowledge workers, there's definitely an increasing trend of fractional, or you spend half time doing this kind of consulting work and half time doing this. There's also a lot of people, not a lot, but some people who are nefariously working multiple full-time jobs at the same time, especially in the sector. So that's an exciting development. But then in other sectors of the economy, you do see people doing, Uber or DoorDash driving and some warehouse work and some other work. So there's many different models of fractional, or in some areas it's called gig work. But yeah, I mean, I think in the marketing field, we are seeing much more remote work, more fractional work, people who don't want to work full time in a day-to-day job and would rather do a little bit of this here and a little bit of that there. And I think freedom and flexibility is the spice of life, and any business and any marketer and any business professional who can and wants to mix it up should do so. And it's a great way to attract great talent and retain great talent. But having multiple full-time jobs is not cool.
It should be a killer.
I got an email from a guy at Apple a couple years ago. He's like, does this person work for Indeed? And I was like, you bet. And he's like, oh, also for Apple.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating. One last question on talent, and then we'll move on to the other topic that I have for you, which is when you look at the qualities and attributes of people that companies look for, they talk about having high emotional quotient, interpersonal skills, and stuff like that. Now, as I see the world becoming more and more tech-driven, people who are close to technology are not as interpersonal. I'm generalizing, I'm stereotyping, but
Sure.
if you generally speaking, the tech folks, they're called nerds for a reason, and I'm one of those. But the point is, they are less people-centric, they are more tech, and then they're brilliant performers and all that stuff. And companies somehow seem to always prefer the extroverts, people who are socially confident. And social confidence is many times misinterpreted as job competence. And it really passes away in that kind of a fashion. So the key thing is, when you look at how the technologies are coming, data is coming, and where the world is going, do you think that we should fundamentally relook at what we define as the characteristics of individuals that we should be looking to hire, specifically in marketing and communications?
Ooh, excellent, excellent topic. So we and I believe in skills-based hiring, and skills and personalities and ways of communicating vary widely, right? Just in the way that I have people on my team who are Japanese and Irish. We have introverts, extroverts, technologists, graphical video producers. So we work for a business that represents the world. So our team needs to represent the world. And that is not just from a nationality or background standpoint. It's from a personal expression standpoint. So I hope that we are all, certainly I came up through management consulting, which was a very aggressive, get in your face, push it through kind of style. I have had to modulate that over time with some success and some failure, sure. But I mean, I think we quieter voices are super important. Um, and I think in the same way that we have to train creatives to think quantitatively, sometimes we have to train technologists to focus more on clear verbal and written communication. And it's about meeting in the middle and respecting all of the styles.
Got it. Got it. This is one thing which I see as a big emerging challenge. And I was having this very conversation a month or so back with Adam Grant. And it was a pretty fascinating discussion. And exactly this is where, I think they could be one of the fault lines in the future if we don't guard ourselves against them very clearly.
I
Now,
think that's right.
in terms of the CMO roles, specifically, you have been, in the CMO roles for a while. And how do you feel that the role of CMO has evolved, if it has?
Well, I mean, I'm sure you have much more experience than I do. I'd be thrilled to hear your answer to that as well. My view on that is that um, once upon a time in marketing, you could think about your brand and your awareness and your funnel management, and maybe you had comms under you as a CMO, maybe not. Um, and you were trying to drive the business as best you can. And now, particularly if you're working on a global business, political strife, racial conflict, murder, the explosion of human and political conflict and social conflict and the role that that plays in business and the expectation that CEOs, CMOs, senior people will know every development around the world, every political sensitivity, we are having to stay on top of and message around and take positions on and advise our leaders on so many more complicated issues and determine what is in the purview of the business, what is not, what should we be involved in, what should we not. That I feel like the role has really expanded and gotten more complicated. And then you add on top of that the media proliferation, right? The number of media channels that we dealt with 20 years ago versus today, night and day. And then the technology. So a CMO is now a technologist, a social and political policy leader, a brander, a performance marketer. In some cases, then we have now the trend too of chief customer officer or chief revenue officer. So you may be doing sales, and so it's delicious and ever expanding. And requires, I would say, for my team, having a leadership team that can put on that carnival every day and manage it smartly. It's a richer and deeper set of leaders that I rely on and that my CEO relies on. And I am so grateful to them every day for keeping us rowing the boat in a straight direction, because those waters get choppy.
Got it. Got it. Now, in a recent essay on Business Insider, you have written that you have landed in your dream job, which is the CMO of Indeed.
True
What
statement.
is your advice to the other marketers who are trying to land their dream jobs?
Yeah. Well, it only took me 50 years to get my dream job. So I would say exercise, take vitamins, get plenty of sleep. Uh, I think longevity and health are always paramount to focus on for everyone. And I would say know yourself, know what you love, know what brings you passion, For me, having a positive impact on society and helping promote equality of all people is paramount to who I am as a human. So finding a job that allows me to go out into the world and talk about getting Black people jobs, lesbians, veterans, people with disabilities. We take a very progressive stance on equality of opportunity in the social and labor realm. And so that brings my heart and mind joy every day. I hope everyone can find a mission-driven company that they are elated to market every day. Your executive team and your boss, my CEO, is one of the most kind, generous, thoughtful people in the world. I adore my executive team colleagues. We are supportive of each other. We do hard work together. So, I've tried on a lot of sweaters. Some are itchy, some are tight, some are just right. But I feel incredibly fortunate to have found a company that fits with me as a human being, and the people I work with and the products I get to take to market are amazing. Now, let's be honest, as we build our careers, we don't always have that latitude, right?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so we all have to try. I always encourage people, try many things, try different roles, try different companies. You don't know what will give you energy and joy until you try it. Although there is certainly a role for longevity and sticking with things that are right for a good long time, and I intend to do that. But a lot of people get stuck in jobs where their boss doesn't have their back, or they're not really clear on how they're making an impact on the organization, and it doesn't bring them joy. And I always encourage those people to to seek those things because you deserve them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You have one life and you get it right somewhere.
That's right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Now, as you look to 2024 and beyond, what are the one or two things that you're focused on as being at the top of your agenda as the CMO of Indeed?
Sure. Well, as you can imagine, the labor markets in Japan, Germany, the UK, US, and India are quite different. So we do have different priorities in different countries around the world, but at the highest level, making sure that all of the employers in the world know that Indeed is the largest and the best and the most technologically advanced hiring platform available for any type of work, anywhere. Helping people understand our AI innovation journey, which is wide and deep. Continuing to help job seekers know that Indeed is in your court. We are your long-term career companion. We are here to help you explore opportunities, learn about new jobs, pay trends, certainly find jobs, apply for jobs, interview for jobs. So we want to be known as the thought leader in the world of work for employers and job seekers all over the world. We also advise governments all over the world on labor policy. And so we are deeply embedded with lots of global organizations, and state and regional and national governments to help them make smart decisions about labor. And so that's a big part of the hiring lab work that we do that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and particularly if I see in the last few months, the number of companies which have been laying off people in big numbers, the service that your organization are doing is absolutely incredible. Thank you very much for that. Because, having the right job and having access to even apply for the right job is a blessing in itself. And you guys are doing such a noble thing. So I really wanted to, wholeheartedly congratulate you on that amazing mission that you guys are on. Now, I'll be remiss if I don't ask you, what is priceless to you?
Well, you'll be glad to know it's my MasterCard.
Well said.
No, I mean, honestly, I've been a MasterCard customer since the dawn of time, so I love MasterCard. That was not a plant. I was not paid to say that. I would say what is priceless to me is love and laughter. The older I get, I'm a cancer survivor. I have a 13-year-old daughter. The only thing that matters is loving the people near you, and your health. And if we don't laugh, we'll cry. So I am trying, I take business very seriously. I also take comedy very seriously. I'm a reformed improv comedian, so you can't take the rubber chicken out of me. But I believe that loving, one of my favorite leadership quotes is, "You cannot lead the people if you do not love the people." And I think my CEO embodies that very clearly every day, and I try to carry that spirit forward as well. But love is the answer.
Brilliant. That's so inspiring, Jessica. Thank you so very much. I know
It
we
was
can
a
keep going
delight.
on. Unfortunately, we are on time. And
Thank you.
also to all the audience who have been watching this, thank you very much for being there. And I think it's your presence and your feedback is what keeps me going. And this is all about you, and I'm trying to bring the best value to you. So whatever you think are the topics I need to cover in the future sessions of either Quantum Marketing Live, or it is about the newsletter, Quantum Marketing Sense letter, please do let me know what the topics are. And really appreciate, and also just keep giving me feedback. And Jessica, again, thank you so
Thank you, Raja.
very
This
much.
was and thank you for the platform that you're creating for everyone in the marketing community and the business community. It's extremely valuable.
Thank you so much. Please take care, stay well, and all of you look forward to again being there in the next month or so. Thank you very much.
Take care.
Bye-bye.